On October 2nd, 1940, Ludwig Fischer, governor of the Warsaw District in the occupied General Government of Poland, signed an order, one that would seal the fate of hundreds of thousands. A Jewish district, a ghetto, was to be created in Warsaw. The streets that once echoed with laughter, daily struggles, and dreams would soon become a prison of despair. Families clung to one another as they were forced from their homes, their belongings reduced to what they could carry. It was to become the largest ghetto in Nazi-occupied Europe, a place where hope would fight a losing battle against starvation, disease, and systematic extermination. Rudolf Höss was not just a man in uniform. He was the architect of industrialized death. When he was appointed commandant of Auschwitz on May 1st, 1940, did he feel a surge of power, or did he suppress any lingering shred of conscience? Under his leadership, Auschwitz became a name synonymous with horror, a place where families were torn apart in an instant, where the air was thick with the scent of burning flesh. Those who arrived were greeted with false reassurances, only to be led toward an end so cruel it defies comprehension. It's chilling to observe the expressions on these men's faces: anguish, defiance, stoicism, acceptance, fear. The third man from the left is even smiling, a final act of rebellion or sheer madness in the face of death. This was Bloody Sunday, Bydgoszcz, 1939, where executions were carried out with methodical brutality. Did they exchange final words? Did they clutch onto a fleeting memory of home? Or did they simply shut their eyes, waiting for the inevitable? A woman runs for her life, terror gripping every fiber of her being. Behind her, young men wield clubs, cold instruments of hate. In the corner of the image, the leg of her pursuer looms closer. This is Lviv, 1941, a place where an entire community was marked for death. The Lviv pogroms were not just acts of violence. They were eruptions of raw, unchecked hatred. What was she thinking in this moment? That she could escape? That someone, anyone would help? Or was she already bracing for the blows to come? Captured in a split second of defiant courage, a woman hitting a neo-Nazi with her handbag by Hans Rennessen is more than just a photograph. It's a moment of righteous fury. It's April 13th, 1985, Växjö, Sweden, and a 38-year-old woman takes a stand. She swings her handbag, an everyday object turned into a weapon against hate. The expression on her face is one of disgust, anger, and something deeper, perhaps exhaustion. Exhaustion from a lifetime of seeing history repeat itself. Imagine stepping into the past, a 19th century English countryside, where rolling green fields stretch endlessly under the sky. In the midst of this tranquil scene stands a lone cow, a familiar sight, yet something feels off. This is the puzzle of England's rectangular cows, an artistic enigma that continues to intrigue art lovers. Was it an intentional distortion, a quirk of perspective, or an insight into how Victorian artists perceived the world around them? These haunting mugshots stare back at us from the 1870s. Victorian child criminals, some as young as 12, their expressions a mix of fear, defiance, and resignation. Their crimes? Petty theft, vagrancy, offenses born from poverty, not malice. Yet, the punishments were brutal. These were children who should have been playing in the streets, learning to read, dreaming of the future. Instead, they were locked away in Oxford jail, their future stolen by a justice system that showed no mercy. The year is the 1920s and 1930s, and London's parks are alive with an unusual sight. Sheep grazing freely, their woolly forms dotting Hyde Park, Kensington Gardens, and Clapham Common. This was not a quaint tradition, but a practical solution to cut mowing costs. Shepherds competed for the privilege, guiding their flocks through the city's green lungs. Imagine the contrast. modern automobiles rattling past as centuries-old pastoral life unfolded in the heart of a bustling metropolis.